Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening. I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, longtime television and radio personality Bob Carr, here to tell us about his new book, The Packard Limousine. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you. I just love hearing Bob's voice.
Oh, wow.
I'm so glad you're here. Poppy Tucker, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, of course, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. Good to see you.
Hi,
hey.
Peg.
He's back. He's in town for a little while. Artist and musician Tony Green, who will also be performing for us later tonight with guitarist John Rankin. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Steppin Out theater critic Alan Smason, who is also editor of the Crescent City Jewish News. But first up, Miss Poppy, to talk about breakfast.
Well, a lot of people are making New Year's resolutions right now, and they say breakfast is your most important meal of the day. That may be one of your resolutions. There's no place better to have breakfast than in New Orleans, frankly. Think of the great places we have: Coulis, Toast, Willagine, Bearcat Cafe, Slim Goodies and Horns, and of course Camellia Grill. Another old stalwart nowadays is the Ruby Slipper Cafe. And of course that all started in Mid-City. Well, the original Mid-City location has moved to a new location on North Broad near Tulane, where there's 27 parking places. If you ever went to the old one, you know how important that is. And it's very near where Broad Street, I'm sorry. So it's Broad Street
near Tulane,
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And the new location joins their location on Canal Street downtown, the two locations on Magazine. One is downtown, one is uptown. Burgundy and the Marigny, and then they even, if you're traveling, you can have the Ruby Slipper Cafe in Baton Rouge and in Orange Beach. So,
but it all started in Mid-City.
All started in Mid-City. Go to the new location.
Yeah.
And Red Dog Diner is a new great choice uptown on Magazine Street. Breakfast starts there at 8 a.m. They serve until 2 p.m. breakfast, but they also have some lunch and dinner options till 8 o'clock. You can get huevos rancheros, biscuits and gravy, pancakes and waffles, all those things, and poached egg dishes like crab sardou, prime rib Benedict sardou, a tasso with shrimp and grits. And they have these Humpty Dumpty bowl type things. One of them sounds really intriguing. Curry roasted cauliflower with Gruyere cheese. Great vegetarian choice. And then let's go old school and go uptown to Riccobono's Panola Street Cafe. Many people have never been there. It's so tucked away in a residential area uptown. They open at 7 a.m. They serve till 2 p.m. and they have liver and onions, one of my favorite things. Omelets, like a crawfish saute omelet. They serve a crab cake Benedict, where the cake makes up for the muffin. And they have Belgian-style waffles, and they have salads, hamburgers, and sandwiches available at the same time, too. Sometimes a BLT for breakfast is a good idea. And the same people who own Riccobono's also own Cafe Navarre, right down the street from here. Great place to go that tucked away people may not know about. Breakfast starts at 7 a.m. weekdays till 11 a.m. and they have great food for breakfast, things like eggs cochon that's served Benedict style with poached eggs. You can get an egg poor boy there, very unusual. And the Navarre special, which is ham, potatoes, onions, tomato, and cheddar, all together scrambled on top of grits with more cheddar and jalapeno on top. And I love that they have outdoor seating, so you can walk over there with your little dog and everybody can sit outside and have breakfast. And to give you an idea of what a trend breakfast is getting to be, Cafe B is serving weekday breakfast too, from 7 a.m. until 10:30 on Metairie Road. They have oatmeal and granola. This is real breakfast, but they also have avocado or salmon toast. They have pain perdu, a New Orleans favorite you don't see on menus much, crab, spinach, and brie omelet. And I would really like the oyster sardou, which is poached eggs with flash-fried oysters, bacon sautéed baby spinach, and artichoke hearts.
Wow. I love the atmosphere there, too. It's so pleasant.
I love Cafe
the Crossroads,
B.
La Bar, Metairie Road. It's very pleasant.
7 a.m. at Cafe B. I'll see you there.
Thank you so much. And speaking of seeing us here, welcome back, Tony Green, who spends most of his time in Venice. Okay.
Somebody's got to do it.
Right. And then when he's not there, this original Algerine also lives in the quarter. And so you're really used to living in these very picturesque, historic cities.
Well, it's by choice. It's by choice. I'm an aesthetic guy. I like to surround myself with beauty, and I'm more of a traditional painter. And so, but you know, I love the French Quarter because of the community feel. I love Venice because of the community feel. So the combination of the two, it makes her a very happy Tony.
And we're going to be showing some more recent paintings. Primarily, most of these actually set in Venice. And a few years ago, my husband and I had the good fortune to have lunch with you.
I thought you looked
on
familiar.
A jaunt in Venice. Had a great time.
No, we had a great time.
But you're actually also, of course, making your wonderful paintings of New Orleans too. So you go both ways. You do that as well.
Yeah. I'm a landscape painter, but you know, I have a lot of murals and things around the city. I design all sorts of different stuff, but there's no substitute for honest observation, and that is what landscape painting is all about. You confront nature, and nature slowly reveals her secrets to you, and I try to convey them back to my audience.
Well, we want a lot of people to see those secrets, and so you're having your own open house in your French Quarter pad.
There's certain rooms that are going to be closed off. All right? You can't go there. All right?
But
you can't go there.
Many of your works
yes,
are
I'm having
available
an
for
open
sale.
studio. I'm having an open studio where you can look at a lot of my latest paintings and whatnot. And of course, they'll be for sale. And so please come by. Or just meet and
it's a
greet
great
kind of thing.
apartment too. Come see
Oh,
another
what a view! Yeah, you got a great
apartment.
view of the whole Ursuline Convent and all of New Orleans.
So you're spending most of your time though in Venice. So just so people know how special it is that you happen to be here right now, huh?
Yeah, I'm very pleased to be here. I come back to see family and friends, et cetera, et cetera. But I haven't given up on New Orleans. You know, I do whatever I can to support the city and get it going in the right direction.
Absolutely. And you live in Venice, actually, in an historic area too.
I live in the Jewish ghetto. I live in the Jewish ghetto, and in the ghetto, the word ghetto is a Venetian word which means iron foundry, getto, and we celebrated 500 years last year of the Venetian ghetto. So, and the Venetians gave a sanctuary to the Jewish diaspora, and they all built there, and they have all the high rises. And as the Jews moved on through Europe, etc., they would call their congregations where they would settle ghettos until they got to New York, and it got a negative connotation.
Yeah,
But, so there's
it's
your
a very
history
quaint
lesson.
neighborhood. It's in a square.
It's very
having,
nice.
as I said, visited you. So tonight, though, you are performing, and John Rankin, your buddy, is with you. What are you going to play for us?
We're going to do John and Tony's Christmas Swing.
You're in the Christmas mode. We still are, and we're so glad. We're going to let you get up and go across the studio.
Yeah, with John Rankin,
and
who's
thank
awesome.
you. How fortunate are we to have John Rankin? So it's just really great because Tony's in, poor baby, once again, in Venice most of the time. So we're really, really glad that he's here. And a reminder that you can go to Tony's website, tonygreen.net, to view his artwork and his murals. And there's also videos of him performing and information on a documentary about him, all that good stuff. But now it's time to hear John and Tony in their Christmas swing. and gentlemen, don't forget that Tony's Open House Christmas Studio will still be open until tomorrow. You can schedule an appointment time with him, of course, at 522-8379 or by going through his website. New Orleans Magazine's Quiz Queen, by the way, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last week, we asked you for the name of a popular local band who are known for their parody of the 12 Days of Christmas, as well as True Love's Gift on the First Day. I wonder what that is. Okay, we were talking about Benny Grunch and the Bunch, and the gift was a crawfish they caught in Araby. Now tonight's question. The two teams playing in the Sugar Bowl played last year for the national championship. Name the universities and their mascot names. Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a year's subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, a copy of the book Fantastic Saints by Ron Calamia, which is about Saints superfans, and we have a pair of free admission passes to either the Audubon Zoo, the Aquarium of the Americas, or the Butterfly Garden and Insectarium. You can go to wyes.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of all the events. And you can also link to our WYS YouTube channel to view our program. And Bob Carr, it is so nice to see you. And you've been busy. We are, of course, remember you very fondly from TV and radio, but you've been writing up a storm.
Well, hey, how lucky am I to be here? I'm usually out there watching you all on TV with Jan, and so tonight how lucky is this to be next to you? And as Poppy always says, wow, yum.
And your wonderful wife, speaking of young, Miss Jan, too. But
anyway, Peggy, when you're my age, when you've just turned 90, as you know,
very hard to
you got to
believe.
keep reinventing yourself, or you become, fallow and nobody cares. So,
but
anyway.
Your first book, though, we should point out, is of course you raised your wonderful
Raising
children,
our children on
Bourbon
Yep,
Street.
that's
So
still
that
getting
was a
some
memoir.
traction. Yep.
All about that and some of the challenges, including, as I recall, Playboy bunnies on Easter egg hunts or something like
we
that.
had Terry Fletcher. People remember Terry Fletcher.
Yes,
we had the bunny bread bunnies in her patio. We had the Playboy bunnies in my patio, and then we had another patio, the DeSelles, where we had real bunnies. And we had little chickens, but I don't think they allowed them. Remember, they used to color the little the little chickens.
Yeah, that's not in anymore.
Well, the kids would pick those up, squash the chickens, and make them choke.
Oh,
so
no.
I think it's off limits.
Well, that book
idea.
is available, but your newest one, I know you're especially proud of, because this is actually the ups and downs of growing up during the Depression, isn't it?
It is. Well, the cover of it, I'm kind of proud of the
pretty.
cover. We lived in this house. We lived in a big house in Battle Creek, Michigan. We had a chauffeur who drove our Packard limousine.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, the Depression hit my parents. We moved out of the big house into the Packard limousine. And then we spent 2 years living in the Packard limousine with the chauffeur and in tents. And my family told me we were going on a camping trip. We were going on a camping trip, which lasted 2 years. And my mother was so worried that my sister and I would grow up as carnies and carnival people and have that language and so on, because we spent all the time at state fairs and county fairs. My dad and grandfather were selling their farm machinery, and so we traveled all in that ilk all over the Middle West. And that's what the story's about. But the Depression era, we don't hear much about it anymore. And I think it's part of history that still needs to be told. And we're all dying off, so this is my last gasp.
Well, don't be in a hurry, okay?
Well, I have another one in the wings.
Yeah.
It's called Holy Ghost. Not the holy like holy,
Yes.
but this is WHOLY, because we lived on Esplanade Avenue. This will be about New Orleans. We lived on Esplanade, and we had a ghost in the house that we blamed everything on.
Well, through your career, though, you and Jan and raising your children, you lived in the quarter, but then you moved uptown to the Garden District.
Well, we wanted to give the kids a little class.
Okay, renovated a house there, and then they grew up,
Yeah.
and then you moved to
back
renovated
to
house
this
on
house.
Esplanade.
Yeah, this house on Esplanade, and that's where we encountered Michelle.
Ah, the ghost.
And Michelle apparently flirted with the Yankee soldiers were on the Esplanade of Esplanade Avenue on the neutral ground for about 8 years after the Civil War. Well, if you were a young girl out on your balcony and you were waving at the Yankee soldiers across the street, your parents might get upset. And
This is true.
Apparently, Michelle died of something. We don't know quite what, but she still haunts that house, kind of. So I think that's going to be the next deal.
Well, we should point out something I don't think many people know about Mr. Carr. As I recall, you telling me that the curtains on the Esplanade in the Esplanade house were made by you. He made curtains because he used to work backstage with theater crafts and
I don't do curtains.
He does curtains.
It's like,
I was always very impressed with that.
Well, no, I'm saying like Tony's multifaceted,
Okay.
and he has a creative bent. Well, we all have sort of a creative bend if we let it loose, you know, every once in a while.
Because you used to be in plays.
I used to be in plays. We learned how to make stuff. We learned how to make costumes. We learned how to make curtains. So I made all the draperies for this 20-room house.
Incredible. So your book is available at all local bookstores, and you've got, let's see, coming up, and we should point out, in January, you're going to be giving a talk.
I'm going to be giving a talk.
At Slidell Senior Center over there. But we're just so glad you're here. And you're also going to be at St. Francis on the 18th. Yeah.
I've done a bunch of book signings. The book is available at all bookstores in town.
Yes, that's the important news here.
Yeah,
and once again, Happy New Year and best
hey,
to Jan.
thank you.
We're
What
so
a
glad
what a
that you're
deal
here.
to be sitting next to beautiful you.
Well, thank you. Our pleasure, believe me. And now it's time, though, for our Artist Spotlight, and we are featuring two works of art that are featured in the Octavia Art Gallery's current exhibit. This is Plateau by Scott Andressen. And then this work of art is titled Emptiness by Martin Benson. You can see both artists' work until tomorrow at the Octavia Art Gallery on Julia Street. Visit the gallery's website for more information. And now to Alan.
So it's the end of the year, and we have to sort of reflect on the state of theater. And I would say that this has been a very good year for theater in New Orleans. We've had a host of different really good dramas, as well as some really good musicals as well. And I'm really talking about the local productions. The Sanger Theater has really stepped up the bar for a lot of productions that they brought in. And of course, we're looking forward to several things this coming year, including obviously Hamilton will be on the horizon too. So some fantastic shows there. Recently, of course, they did Irving Berlin's White Christmas. And, you know, we're looking forward to seeing some really, really good shows that are just coming really straight off of Broadway too. But locally, that's what I really want to talk about. We had some wonderful dramas. Again, I want to talk about Father Comes Home from the Wars. That's the first one off the top. These are not in any particular order, but I wanted to mention, this of course was a retelling of the Odyssey tale, if you remember, and essentially it's set in the Civil War and deals with the issues of slavery. This was the first time it was actually shown here. It was a regional premiere, and again, this may be the first of many such plays that will be done on the national rolling network of plays that they'll have. But again, kudos to Southern Rep for that. Also, the Tennessee Williams Theater Company, a company that just started just a few years ago and has come up with some impressive works. The Milk Train Doesn't Stop Here Anymore was, of course, the Tennessee Williams work that was done and was a showcase for Janet Shea, the first lady of New Orleans theater, and she did not disappoint. She was wonderful. Also, they did Camino Real, which, of course, was a Tennessee Williams production that essentially had a lot of odd characters. It was set in sort of a purgatorio almost type of a place. And again, the Tennessee Williams Theater Company presented this at the Marigny Opera House, and it was just delightful. Very well done, high production values, and I really did enjoy that. Also, for the first time this last year, the World War II Museum, and again under the great director Victoria Reed, they presented at BB Stage Door Canteen, not the Victory Bells as you might expect, or something else related to World War II, but they presented a stage play, which I guess did have a little bit of World War II flavor, Biloxi Blues by Neil Simon. First time they'd ever done a straight play there, and not again something to go over the fact that it was something of a bit of a risk. Yeah. For them, you know, and again, they did well with it. I would encourage them to do more of those sorts of things, and we're going to talk more about the musical they also presented. But also, again, as to be expected, the NOLA project stepped up what they always do. They've been around now 13 years is amazing. They did do, you know, it's just a play, etc. But one I wanted to mention was their original work that they did at the New Orleans Museum of Art at the Sidney and Waldo Bestoff Sculpture Garden, which was, of course, the Spider Queen, and just a tremendous work that was just expansive. They had all kinds of sculptures and all kinds of works that they used with the sculpture garden to make it all happen. Again, we just found out that the sculpture garden is going to be expanded, so perhaps they'll have a bigger area to play out in future years, but we're looking forward to that to continue. In musicals, Le Petit Theatre to be congratulated for once on this island, an ensemble cast, and again, for those of you who are going to New York, they're going to be doing it again as a revival at the, I believe it's the Marquette Theater that's up there, and not to be missing out on a couple of really good shout-outs. I want to mention the entire season this past year from Michael McKelvey and the Summer Lyric Theater at Tulane. They did Annie Get Your Gun, which showed, of course, the tremendous power of Katie Howe and the cast there. Hairspray, which, of course, had some people who had actually done some of this on national tours, including Sean Patterson. Gypsy with Liz Argus. And then I don't want to mention, as I mentioned, the National World War II Museum, I don't want to leave out Ain't Misbehavin', the first time they did a real legitimate musical, and it was wonderful. Ensemble cast there again. One of the other things that I really loved this year was Tony Kushner and Janine Tesori's Caroline or Change, presented in conjunction with JPAS, Jefferson Performing Arts Society, and Loyola University. That was just tremendous. And of course, they had a night with Tony Kushner during the run there that was also spectacular. And then, of course, Southern Rep had Fun Home, straight off of Broadway, probably. You'd consider that because it's only a couple of years ago that it won the Tony Award. And then, last but not least, Christian Tarzetti and a tremendous performance she did in the Little Mermaid. Again, kudos to Rivertown, who always do a good job there.
All right, thank you, Alan, so much. And now it's time for our picks of the week. Bob, one last time, the name of your book.
The Packard Limousine, A Boy's Journey During the Great Depression. And I love to go out and talk to groups, so if anybody wants me to come out,
okay.
give me a call.
Okay, good.
I'm available. When you're this old, you're available.
Great to once again see. And of course, Poppy.
Get your tickets now for the Linkster Juskies Foundation 3rd Annual Ball Mask. It's at the Sugar Mill. It's on Saturday, January 20th. This year, the tickets start at just $300, so it's a great event.
All right, Tony.
New Year's Eve with the great John Rankin will be at Cafe Degas, holding court, and it's always a wonderful evening. So I think
very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alan.
I just mentioned Rivertown Theaters a few moments ago. Well, Kelly Fushi and Gary Rucker are going to be having their season announcement party on Saturday, January the 6th. That's going to be at 7 p.m. It's $30 to attend, but that goes towards the productions that they have coming up. And again, Rivertown Theaters of Performing Arts, if you don't know where it is in Kenner, beautiful place to go.
Bob, how do people contact you? What's the best way? Through me? So should
Yeah,
call
that'd
me
be
at
a
the
good way.
station. All right. 486-5511. I'll be his agent.
Right,
Okay. And my picks. The Audubon Zoo will be holding its annual Zoo Year's Eve celebration on this Sunday with a special musical guest, the Pop Princesses. And the event is from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and is free with zoo admission. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve returns to New Orleans to welcome 2018. Hosted by Ryan Seacrest, the celebration will have live entertainment provided by the bands Imagine Dragons and Walk the Moon, and that will be at Jackson Square on Sunday at 8 p.m. And the Steamboat Natchez is holding its annual New Year's Eve extravaganza on Sunday. Boarding starts at 9:30 p.m. Well, you can enjoy a holiday buffet as well as music. It is $175 per person, and make sure to make a reservation before attending. And now, though, we leave you with more music from Tony Green and John Rankin as they perform a song so apropos to the show, Auld Lang Syne, Happy New Year. Thank you so very much for watching. Good night. Okay.
Happy New Year. We fooled them again.